Welcome back to the channel, and this episode of Daredevil Born Again, I have some conflicted feelings on. Now, a lot of people say that today's episode is the best thus far, but I wonder, is it truly because this episode is rich with content and value, or is it because of one scene in particular? I'll give you my overall thoughts on the episode later, but for now, I'm pretty conflicted on it. Anyway, let's take a look at Daredevil Born Again's fourth episode and see how good this episode really is. After we finally see the white tiger in the field, Matt then goes to the mortuary as we see the white tiger's stuff. So, yeah, he was killed. And that really sucks. I can't believe that they killed off the white tiger. Matt then asks the mortician what was recovered. However, he says that a shell casing was not recovered, which is very odd as Matt even points out that it was at an extremely close range. Matt then hears a girl coming in, and it is Hector's niece, Angela. She wants to see Hector and what the person did to him, but Matt is able to convince her not to. However, she does take a swipe at Matt.
Got him out of jail. A lot of good that did him, huh?
She does bring up a valid point. Even though Matt's singular goal was to get Hector off, he unfortunately didn't do it in a way that was appropriate. Even though, yes, in the end, he got Hector off. His decision to unveil that Hector is the white tiger without the consent of Hector or his wife ended up putting a target on his back. Now, whether you agree with Matt's decision is irrelevant. The point is that not even 24 hours after the white tiger was acquitted of all charges, he was executed.
Those are the facts.
Matt is indeed partially responsible for Hector's death. Now sure, you can cast blame on Hector for suiting up once again, but Matt's brash and impulsive decision in the heat of the moment, because he was backed into a corner, led to the consequences of Hector dying. Angela asks if the cops killed him. Matt then says that he doesn't know, but like Angela, I'm sure Matt is very suspicious of the cops as well. The actress for Angela does an amazing job as she says it's not fair as Matt comforts the child. And I really love this. Matt comforting a child really speaks volumes to his character, telling her that they have to believe that there is someone out there who will find the killer. Scenes like this is what makes the grounded heroes, the street level heroes, more relatable to the bigger, more heroic heroes of the MCU. Seeing moments of our hero comfort a child who just lost someone is small and simple, but it really elevates the character and allows us to sympathize even more with them. We then transition to, oh, hold on, we see someone carrying someone. That's weird. I guess he's just saved someone and is going into the subway. Huh. Oh, it's Muse. Okay. It's Muse. Looks like that guy's dead. Now we transition into the opening. Yeah, we finally did it. Gonna be real, that was kind of pointless, but I can't wait to see more of Muse in this episode. I bet he has a huge role in this episode and sets off the events for the latter half of the season. I can't wait to see Muse. After the opening, we see Blade, BB, and this random chick have drinks and go clubbing. And then Blade lets a lot of things slip to BB. Like, bro, didn't anyone ever tell you there is no such thing as off the record with journalists? We then cut to a couple of cops taking away a guy who stole some food as the cops eat the same stuff. Either it's evidence or they bought the stuff. But either way, one of the cops basically stole, like our crook here. It does show that there is a morally grey nature to this case, that the cop is eating the evidence, but this guy who stole it is being processed, unlike the cop. So it does present a sort of morally grey sort of thing. Matt is then brooding on top of his rooftop with his horn piece again. Like, does he really carry it all the time now? I get it. It's a reminder of the night, and it's to symbolize that a piece of him is still missing. But like, we don't need to see it every chance we get. McDuffie then calls that she has pro bono work for Matt, and he is willing to take it. It's a great way to show that Matt not only takes the high-paying or high-profile jobs, but he is also willing to do the smaller cases as well. We then cut to Fisk and Vanessa in therapy. Yay!
Oh God.
And then Heather asks Vanessa why she was drawn to Adam, and Fisk is visibly in distress, and I honestly sympathize with the guy. Like, does he really need to hear this? Vanessa says that she had abandonment issues and that Fisk leaving was triggering. Oh no.
Give me a fucking break.
Vanessa later on says that she couldn't end the affair as she never got the chance to. But Fisk further elaborates that he spoke to him, but nothing more.
It was a conversation. That's all. There's no expression of ill intent.
Bullshit!
Yeah, you're not fooling anyone, fatty. We know what you were doing. We've seen the knuckles before. Heather then asks Vanessa if she is safe.
How sweet of you.
Was it just me, or did she sound a little sarcastic there? But yeah, she later says that Fisk is not capable of hurting her, which is true. The man would lay down his life for her instead of slapping her. We then go back to the fucking BB report. Fuck's sake. Anyway, at least we get the return of the goat himself.
I wish I could be a vigilante. I'd be out there too.
If you thought this story was based, you're right.
Matt then meets with his client, which is the same guy who got arrested at the beginning of the episode.
Well, that's convenient.
And he comes across as the most insufferable prick imaginable. Like, genuinely, he comes across as a little shit that won't take any accountability. He basically says that, 1, he didn't do it, 2, he paid for it last week, and 3, all of them were lying. Now, let's debunk this all, shall we?
Take a seat right over there.
Matt points out that there was security footage and eyewitnesses who can testify that he stole. If he did pay for it last week, then he should come in with a receipt stating that yes, he indeed paid for it. But for food, that's fairly unlikely, as the whole point of food is to purchase and then take the food home. And finally, everyone is lying. The cashier, the owner, the fucking security footage. They are all lying? Wow. Fuck you, man. This fucktard then says that the cops ate the food as well. And just because that they did something bad does not give justification for you to steal it at all.
I hate you.
Now, yes, I know that what the cops did was totally bad, and they should face consequences for it. But just because they did something bad does not give you the right to justify yourself in stealing. He then says one of the most stupidest things imaginable, and even Matt points out how stupid it is. He doesn't even say anything, he just flat out denies it.
Could it have been a scroll?
Nope.
Fuck it up! Fuck it up!
Honestly, fuck Secret Invasion, but whatever. Let's go with it. Why would a Skrull steal fucking boxes of, I'm assuming, cereal? Like, walk me through your logic here, you fucking moron. They are fucking Skrulls. They can change their fucking appearances to anyone. So they change it to your appearance to steal 2 boxes of cereal.
What are you, fucking retarded?
Matt then brings up his rap sheet and then says that it's looking like he might not get parole. And he gets real testy with Matt because, man, the level of restraint on Matt, I don't think I could have held back because, man, this fucking idiot is so insufferable and I just want to smack the living shit out of him. Matt then talks to, I'm assuming, a prosecutor, and by God, my man has unspeakable levels of riz.
What you got, Murdoch?
Morning, Sophia. I'm sure you look lovely today. Heightened senses,
I can imagine wanting to know a little bit more about that.
Hint, hint.
And I'm looking for Mr. Right. You're not him by any chance, are you, Murdoch?
Maybe for probation.
You marry her. You marry her now. You marry her.
But yeah, Matt is trying to get the best deal possible for this guy while also charming the hell out of this lady. Like, damn! He even picks up the fact that Sophia is Latvian, not Latverian, like Dr. Doom's Latveria. Latvian. It's a country. So, yeah. Matt is able to riz her up to the point of only getting him 10 days, which, my God, man, that is pretty impressive. Bro was able to get a sentence down from 35 to 20 to 10. That is fucking impressive. Also, bro has a backup just in case he reaches a dry spell, so congratulations, bro. Congratulations. You truly are amazing. Well done, sir. Well done.
I do hope he appreciates you.
Thank you.
You check her out.
Head to toe.
Matt then bumps into Officer Powell. Matt then antagonizes him and accuses him of murder. Powell then fires back, saying that he is a generational cop and that he had nothing to do with the murder, which Matt was able to pick up on the fact that he is in fact telling the truth. He didn't kill Hector. So was it another cop? Fisk's men? Or a theory I have heard is that Muse did it in order to frame the cops or frame Punisher. So it is a compelling theory, but we'll see how it turns out. Either way, the rabbit hole deepens, and we end this pleasant scene with Matt being, once again, snarky as shit.
Not to mention some of my more excitable colleagues on the force.
Only you'd have to bring a few more than the last time we met, wouldn't you?
Fisk then takes his top-ranking employees to Red Hook as he plans on renovating it to become much more of a better location. However, Sheila then says this large list of processes he needs to go through before even considering the idea, which is, wow, talk about red tape. The amount of shit is bullshit. Buck then says to Fisk that they need to deal with the gangs one way or another, and Buck stop it. Like, just genuinely stop it. You are not Wesley. You are never going to be Wesley. Stop it. Genuinely. Stop it. Matt then returns to his client with, not good news, but not terrible news?
Got me that probation.
Nope. I got you 10 days on which you do 7 minus today. You get the weekend bounce back and you are out on Friday.
And this guy then goes off saying that he doesn't get it and that the system jerked him around, and I'm sure it's relatable to a lot of people. But he stole, and he was going to serve 35 days in jail. Matt was able to get the best deal possible, considering he had a very extensive rap sheet. I get that the show is trying to show a much more relatable and grounded approach to people who have committed crimes and make them more relatable. But man, he did not help his case for being the most insufferable piece of shit I could have imagined. Congrats on your big win, man. Now fuck off out of this show. You were grinding the show's pacing so bad. I wanted to fast forward it. It was that bad. And that's the thing with this episode. Outside of the opening so far, the episode itself has been boring. The pacing is slow. We needed to cut down on certain scenes. This episode is such a slow episode. It is painful at times. Anyway, back to the episode. Mayor Fisk is at a school and he is listening to kids sing "We Built This City on Rock and Roll," and genuinely, it is pretty funny. Seeing this man be so uncomfortable listening to kids. This is all happening while Daniel informs Sheila that he fucked up as the BB report posts information he disclosed to her at the club. Fisk is then informed of the screw-up by Sheila, but she does not say who leaked it. Fisk is pissed, but then goes to an event for Latvian Heritage Day, as he is once again forced to listen to Latvians sing this time. And who knew that they would sing the exact same song? When Fisk gets back to his office, he is fucking pissed. Like he is about to put someone's head near a door. Blade then opens up to his mistake, but then throws a nat 20 on his speech. Fisk is appreciative of this, honestly, and gives him a warning.
If you ever do anything like that again, it will be the last thing that you ever do. Do you understand?
Politically, right, Fisk? Right? We cut back to the BB report, and the woman says it's hard to believe Fisk as, well, there's a controversy every week. Insightful. Like, really insightful. We finally get the core part of the episode. Over halfway through this fucking thing. For fuck's sake. Why couldn't we have cut this episode down? Matt is investigating the scene of the crime where Hector was executed as he tries to piece together the events that night and hear where the shell casing would go. And this feels like a little one of those Batman Detective Vision investigation sequences from the Arkham games. I will say, hell of a coincidence that the bottle that Matt taps down goes to the same drain as the shell case, but it's a minor thing. I can overlook it, but whatever. He then picks it up and sniffs it.
Brother, ugh.
Matt then walks down a long corridor as we come to the scene that a lot of people thinks earns this episode to be the best episode. And this episode does have the best scene in the show thus far, so I can understand why people like this episode a lot. Matt comes to a room and the Punisher, Frank Castle, is here. And yeah, this is the best scene in the show thus far. Now, some people may say, wait, but how did Frank know that Matt was Daredevil? Well, let's break it down, shall we? Matt and Frank fought, and Frank got him on that rooftop, which they had a lot of time together. Fast forward to the courtroom, Matt asks Frank if he can call him by his name, Frank, just Frank. And the way he picks up on his voice, the way he says Frank, is a subtle hint that he knows Matt is Daredevil. And at the end of the second season of Daredevil, Frank helps Daredevil take out the hand. Granted, it was purely through a long-range rifle, but I'm sure with that scope he was able to see Matt's face, even if it was dark. But essentially, Frank has known Matt is Daredevil since season 2. How did Matt know where to go? Well, it has been some time since season 2. It is entirely possible he has been keeping tabs on Frank, and maybe they have teamed up on occasion. Anyway, let's talk about this scene, shall we? Matt informs Frank that Frank's fanboys killed his client, and that if he used all of the stuff he has hid in his lair, he could help people. To which Frank says he did all that, but now he is here. Matt calls him a victim, but Frank then just bites back.
I used that pussy ass word my entire life. You don't put it in my mouth, you understand?
And then, I know this is me recapping, but genuinely, if you have the chance, watch this scene, because me explaining it does not do it justice. Anyway, Frank says he is in his hideout planning his next kill, and Matt is about to leave, but Frank then says it seems like Matt's not down here to get Frank's help, but his permission. Matt then says that that's not true, but Frank says he's guilty.
Excuse me? Yeah. That guilt, that shame, that's my home, Red. And I can see it on you, I can smell it on you, it's all over you.
Matt once again trying to leave until Frank says something to get him back to talk a little bit more.
But that friend of yours, you saved his life. You lost him, didn't you, Red?
Matt says it's not about him, and Frank asks him a simple question. Just say his name.
Say his name, you coward! Say his name! It's not about him! You hate yourself. He's eating you up because you ain't done a goddamn thing about it.
Matt then apologizes, but Frank says that that's the most honest thing he's done so far. But then Frank drops the antagonistic behavior and gets real with Matt, saying that Matt also, like him, hears a voice. Only Matt hears Foggy, Frank hears his son. And honestly, John Bernthal is honestly a treasure. Being able to drop from the intense Punisher to the kind-hearted Frank, the broken Frank, in a moment is impressive and shows how much of a talent he is. But not only John, but Charlie Cox breaking down in this moment when he knows Frank is right is truly fantastic. One of the best moments of acting from Charlie. Frank further lays it into Matt why he is feeling like this.
That's why he's eating you, because you know you didn't do a goddamn thing, and it's gonna keep eating at you. It's gonna keep eating and eating and eating. There's no getting away with it, you understand?
Matt then further tries to justify what he did with Dex, but Frank is not having it. There is a bit of ADR here where I think originally Frank was going to say Point Dexter or Dex, but in this he says,
Every day Bullseye goes to the chow hall, eats his slop. You know he gets to breathe the same air that you breathe.
I do like that with the time gap between season 3 and now, Dex has embraced his Bullseye name as his assassin name. Also, when Matt shouts that Dex got life, he immediately breaks down, knowing that he is just trying to justify that letting the system do it, when in his heart, it is not fair that a good man, Foggy, dies, and a man who murdered him gets to live in prison. Frank even points out that Foggy is dead, and Matt talks about how good he is, how men like Frank and Matt,
We could work a lifetime and never measure up to his decency.
Frank then nods as Matt finally leaves. It is honestly such an amazing scene for both actors. You get the snappy banter, the anger towards each other, and the shared sadness. Without a doubt, one of the best written and emotionally impactful scenes in not just this series, but also both Punisher and the original Daredevil. And this goes without saying, but probably the entire MCU. The scene is truly great, and I wish the rest of the episode could have been as good as this one scene. We then cut to Fisk and Vanessa, and she tells him that Heather asked if she felt safe, and she said yes. We also have Fisk say his iconic line.
Say the line, Bart!
When I was a boy.
And he then talks about his dad and that he never learns forgiveness. However, he is trying to be different, to which Vanessa responds with that she is different from when he left her. Matt then returns home to find Heather in his apartment, and I like the two together in this scene. I guess she's warming to me, but I still prefer Karen though, and I will die on that hill. They talk about their days and how crazy it's been, and they go back to the bedroom to,
I didn't know if you needed to unload or whatever.
Yeah, unload on her face.
After a serious case of post-nut depression while wearing his cross, like a good Catholic boy he is, he heads back up to the rooftop as we intercut with Fisk going downstairs, and it's a perfect representation of the two men going back down their path. Matt going back to a higher calling and returning to Daredevil, while Fisk goes back down to the person he was, the Kingpin. And we see Matt looking at a sizable amount of mask as he grabs his billy clubs. With Fisk, on the other hand, he walks past the white, wall-stained with blood, very much the same painting from Season 3. While Matt trains with his clubs, Fisk is eating a lavish dish while he has kept Adam in a cage. And that's it for the episode. I think this is where Daredevil is back, or at the very least, we see him soon. It was a good wait, there's more. We see some guy bring someone to his messed up cave with grotesque painting. And, oh, it's Muse. He was at the beginning, right? Oh yeah, he was at the beginning and then there was like a painting. So strange. Anyway, he sucks this guy's blood and cuts the credits. Wait, what? What was the point of that? Why was Muse just tacked on? Like, come on, really, that's it? Why not get a bit more of an extended scene? So that was episode 4 of Daredevil, and it was an overall fine episode, but very much like the other episodes, held up by a particular scene. A lot of the talk behind episode 4 has been with the Frank Castle and Matt Murdock scene. But a lot of people don't talk much about the rest of the episode. Now, I think this is on the same level as episode 1, perhaps slightly higher. This is like episode 3 though, with the White Tiger trial, a very direct episode that doesn't deviate much from the parallel story this time around. In the last episode, it was very much focused in on Matt, but in this episode, it was pretty evenly split between Matt and Fisk. We both saw what they had to deal with, but ultimately went back to their old ways, or perhaps never left. Now, I thought that the opening for this episode was really strong. We have an emotional scene with Hector's niece, and then we end with Muse. Awesome, fantastic, great opening. But then after that, we get thrown into the life of Matt and Fisk. And I get what they were going for. But I felt that if they shaved off a couple of minutes with the guy that Matt was defending who stole freaking cereal, and perhaps reduced the time we spent in the therapist room, and we cut the school sequence or the Latvian day, then I think this episode could have been much better, because you have to get over half of the runtime to get to the good stuff of Matt playing detective, then meeting with Frank. If they had shaved the episode for time, then I think this episode would have been my favorite episode and the best episode thus far. Muse was also wasted in this episode. He was really tacked on this episode. He showed up at the beginning and ending, and then was some graffiti of him just in the middle. Like, awesome. But with all that being said, good God, the highs of this episode was fucking amazing, but the lows were just boring. And I know people will say, oh, so you just want Matt to be Daredevil in every episode, right? Beat up bad guys. To which I say, no. But we are pretty much halfway through the season, and we had an opening fight that was 1 year prior to the events of the show, and one small-scale apartment fight scene. I loved that episode 3 was essentially a courtroom drama, but you need to find a right balance between Matt Murdock lawyer and Matt Murdock Daredevil. That's why season 1, in my eyes, was pretty perfect. You would have Matt doing his lawyer shtick, but to balance it out, you would have him do some vigilante stuff every episode or so. Now, episode 5 and 6 will be streamed back to back, so I'm curious to see how those two episodes are, as Born Again will only have 3 more episodes after that. Now, it is entirely possible that the last 5 episodes really bring it home and put into context the first 4 episodes. It is entirely possible. But overall, I would say episode 4 is tied with the first episode. It has its problems, but Matt finding the shell casing, leading him to the iconic Frank and Matt scene, and the final moment where Fisk and Matt embrace their darker halves, really makes this episode stand out. But as for the rest of the episode, it was fine, but there were moments where I did feel bored during the first half of the episode. Except for Matt rizzing up that prosecutor. Bro has been blessed by God with that ability. Anyway, thank you for everyone who watched this video. If you like this video, why not like the video or comment your thoughts on the episode below. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Let me know down below. And if you want to hear more of Daredevil, subscribe to the channel, as I plan to do this every week, essentially. And as always, to everyone, take care and have a good one.